welcome to another recorded episode of DTYDT. I'm your host, Zay. Today's topic is going to be few versus the many. I really wanted to put the weeds versus the weeds, but that might be for another time. So before we get into that, first, I'm a man of God. Secondly, my beliefs and ideas are like clothes. So when my beliefs and ideas don't fit anymore, I remove them and replace them with new ones that fit. Alright? So this conversation or topic about, few versus the many. Or few and the many, or the few and the many. However you want to put it. I don't want to put it like verses, but somehow it's always a competition out there. But so I'm gonna just start with myself personally. Like I didn't really have like no initial like pull to be like subjected to any group. So basically I came from Trinidad and Tobago when I was like 12, 13, somewhere around there. And I didn't go to like school for a year. My brother's system got into like elementary and stuff like that. Then probably like midway through the year, at the end of the school year, I ended up going to like starting middle school. I was supposed to start 6th grade, but they end up putting me back because school records or whatever this stuff be. What they do with Caribbean people or however they put it. So, I did 5th grade. Like I left back. And from there, moving on, it was just like, at first I didn't really play sports and stuff like that. Not saying it really wasn't a thing. Like, back home we played soccer, some game we called rounders. Not really cricket like that, unless you have mad people and stuff like that. But sports was different up here, and I was always in the house, so. And around that time, it was like AOL, so I was on that computer playing pinball all day, all night. But anyway, starting school and stuff like that, I was like, even like learning the subjects and stuff like that, it was pretty weird for me. Especially that first time, I didn't really understand anything. Especially when it came to like US history and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, this stuff is weird. I don't get it. Math, I don't understand what is going on. So, I'll put my head down and stuff like that. So, of course, when I don't do no work for most of the year, of course, you're going to get left back. So I'm like, all right. So after redoing that, I picked up and stuff like that. Some of the stuff I started to understand more and all of that. I'm like, okay. It's not easy, but I'm starting looking around, and then I looked up and there was this thing where it was like, what they used to call it at that time, I think it used to be like swag. I'm like, okay, me now, I don't really have no swag, so regular shirt, probably like a regular t-shirt like this, probably a button up over it, got some jeans, regular jeans, ain't nothing crazy, so I'm like, I do look a little bit different, a little bit. And then I'm like, I don't really think about stuff like that, your parents buy them stuff, so I'm like, alright. I mean, it was a given, parents buy the kids stuff, especially when it came to like a new year and stuff like that. Kids getting a present, come back with new fits, the new book bag, the new shoes, and I'm like, yo, they got it like that. But me, in my head, I ain't worried about stuff like that because I knew what was going on back home and stuff like that. Certain things that was just like Like I grew up like not really asking for things. because pretty early I was mature enough to understand it's like this has to be taken care of, so you can't even look at that, you know. So I already had that mindset of like, you know, doing what I have and stuff like that. My mindset wasn't really on like, you know, what people thought of me, how I got to dress, things like that was like unknown to me because mind you, I'm from the Caribbean, you know, called an immigrant. So moving on, you know, through like middle school, high school, stuff like that. Middle school I started playing like, you know, a little basketball and stuff like that. So I could only identify certain things. The people who get fly, they play ball. People who don't really get fly they don't really do nothing. You know, the one where they throw the ball on the wall and stuff like that. So I'm like, hey. Nothing wrong with that. Started getting into basketball, you know, going on, you know, play a little, went to some beacon programs and stuff like that. You know, so I was only able to identify certain ways. Like, fly people do this. Other people, they would do, probably sit more at the desk, be reading more books. Their book bag would be bigger. They play with cards. Okay. So I started to realize there were cliques. You know, and getting into high school, that's where it really got more broader for me. The aspect of it kind of got a little more wider. And I'm like, oh, so I was expecting certain people because like I was going in with the same judgment prior to high school. Like, these type of people would play ball. These type of people, they probably do whatever. I don't know what they would do. So, you know, going to gym class, my whole perspective of that changed. It was just like weird. Certain people, it was just like, and you know, only the fly people would have waves. It wasn't like that when I went to high school, right? And anybody who went to Springfield or anywhere around that area, I don't know if it was like that for other schools, but man, it don't matter what. Now somebody got waves, or this one play ball and get fly, or this one get fly but don't play no ball, don't do nothing, probably just work your money. I'm like, yo, it's really different out here. You know what I mean? For me, even my mindset was like, if I wanted to be in a relationship or something like that, you know, and I kind of grew up thinking traditionally, you know, not that I had a proper environment to look forward to, but I knew what I didn't want. But when it came to being, you know, looking for a relationship, I had like wrong ideas on what I should be looking for, you know. Some of them probably were, you know, no, some of them weren't wrong, but some of them I let go because of how certain things, how my perspective on certain things changed. So I was just like, you know, well, anyway, when it came to sports in high school and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I know this. Football players stay with the football players. The soccer players with the soccer players. See the baseball team together. Then you'll see the Jamaican crew. Then you'll see the Haitian crew. Then you'll see everybody got their own little clique of something. So I'm just like, not saying I don't really belong in none of these things, you know, but like, why would I want to stay to one clique kind of thing, you know? And not that I wanted to be like running all over, like, you know, and be all up in different cliques. Like, that wasn't really my thing, you know? So in some ways I felt a little left out, but in other ways I really didn't, because it wasn't really anything in my mind. It was just like, yo, why do I have to be part of anything? And one thing I realized about being part of things, like, you in for the long haul, you know? And I wasn't good at cutting ties when I was young, you know. Anything that I let close to me, no matter what type of friendship, relationship type of thing, like, that would be very close to me. So I was, you know, very protective of myself because of how my perspective on things were different when I came up here. But I really didn't get a better understanding of the bigger perspective of how my life was lined up, right? Not saying I wasn't interested in much, but there were some things where I would have a I would like be able to calculate the outcome based on anything I see. Now, of course, everybody's not the same, but I remember hearing something. I don't know if I was at that age when I heard it, but if you want to be, especially successful, you look at somebody or you find somebody who has like the position you want, who is at the place that you want, right? And what you do, you try to get that person to mentor you and do what that person do, what works for you to get you to that place, right? For me, when I look, I'm like, okay, that's not the outcome I want, but they telling me, and I'm like, I do see people who's doing that, but I don't want to do that. It wasn't even anything. But anyway, fast forward, right? Fast forward a lot of years. How we say it out here in New York, fast forward mad years. So like what, 2017, 2018, I came up with this idea. Unknown to me at that time, it was God giving me not really something to do, but like, yo, start this. Like, you know how people start businesses and all that other stuff. So at that time, unknown to me, that wasn't, I didn't really understand how that came to me. But that was my thing. I'm like, yo, it's so wild. There's so many of us out here that has like not only the potential, but there's something so valuable within some of us out here, and we may not be at where other people think we should be at, right? But unknown to us, some of us, we don't know how great that thing is inside of us, right? We don't work on that thing. We don't try that thing. There's something, an idea, a plan, something you've been working on, a project. And let me tell you why it's few versus the many, right? Because nothing wrong with working, but the way how we look to be successful, right? We look at different outcomes, and a lot of us may go after those outcomes and continuously go after the outcomes, maybe in different various ways, right? But there are some, that is few, who actually take another route. And instead of trying all those things and actually wanting to see those outcomes or basically experience those outcomes, because me, I wanted to know why not to do, you know what I mean? Before I even actually put more thought and energy into actually building something. Because in my mind, like, I'm working where probably Planet Fitness or before that, 2018. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, how can I create something new, right? Like, if I want to be an inventor, I want to be innovative, I want to be an entrepreneur, what can I come up with? Like, there's so many different things that's already been invented. So many different things. So how do I even bring in something new? There's been millions of people. And I'm like, yo, how do I even, create something? You know what I mean? But this is why I had to catch up with the word and work deeper on my relationship and find out who Jesus is and what he paid for. So And not only what he paid for, but the characteristics and of his ministry, right? So understanding when I got saved, what I was supposed to do, how I was supposed to follow, and my training and stuff like that, I would, if I stay on my training and I want to basically understand more of what I am supposed to do with what I have, what we all have, because we all were born with a gift. We all were born with a gift, no matter who you are. We all were born with a gift that God gave us, right? Some people, I'm not even gonna go there. But through a relationship, I understand more and more how it's supposed to work. So a lot of the times, the few, they're gonna look crazy. The few, they're gonna look like they fell off. The few, that's where people ask like, yo, so what happened? What happened to this person? You remember how this person was? The few are the ones where they outcast. Where they outcast them. You know what I mean? Like, people would really like look differently at people who they don't understand, because they'll be like, nah, I don't get that don't make no sense. So they got to be around with people that make sense, or they'll go to somebody that like, yo, and then have to ask them like, see, that's what. So you're looking for relatable things, right? The many looking for relatable things.